fear of failure. People have this idea of fear of failure. It kind of scares them to go on in their purpose. People have a fear of rejection. With Moses, it wasn't that Pharaoh wanted to kill him, that fear to make him lose his desire. But when the people that he was to save rejected him, that made him lose his desire. Rejection, I can't do this. It's too many times. I kept going at the job, after job, after job. I kept trying this love thing. I kept trying this child thing. And I just cannot have no more rejection. A habit of procrastination. I put it off tomorrow. I don't feel like going to today. Being too lazy. Too stressed out. Letting the wrong people in. The lack of motivation. Sin. Guilt. Regret. Death. Sickness in our own body. Relationship problems. Worldly events. Losing the job. Resentment. Problems with self. Identity problems. Self-confidence problems. Not being able to control your situation. These things and many other things cause people to lose their desire. Have you been a victim of any of these things? I have. Doing this right here, I have. It's not uncommon for people to lose their desire in this world. It's not uncommon. Many times me preaching up here, throughout my years, I'm going on 3 years of fully being out of the church and fully doing this. And at times, I had lost my desire. At times, I said to God, listen, I don't have time for this. I want to, listen, I'll serve you till I die. But doing this ministry, I'm going nowhere. At times, when I got my messages together, I felt discouraged, like, I don't have that fire in me no more, God. I don't have it in me. So it's not uncommon to lose your desire. It's nothing wrong with you. It's nothing wrong. It's being in this body. You will have that struggle. You will have that fight. You will lose that desire at times in your marriage. You will lose that desire sometimes on your job, in your house, in relationships. You will lose that fire in your ministry. Many people in the Bible who God had called lost their desire. Peter denied Christ 3 times. And the Bible says that when Christ looked at him, that he was reminded that he would deny him 3 times. And when Peter saw this, the Bible says that he ran away and he was crying. Peter felt, I can't go on. I rejected the Messiah. He felt guilt in himself. You know, guilt is so heavy. Guilt is a burden. And it weighed on Peter. It weighed on him. He didn't have a desire to do anything because he rejected the one who loved him. He rejected the one who called him. Jeremiah continuously was rejected by Judah when God told him to go preach to them about the Babylonians taking over. And when they threw him into a prison. They did all kinds of things to him. They threw him into a pit and he just got fed up with God. Said, I can't do this no longer, God. I don't have the desire in me to do this any longer. Have you ever felt so stuck? Have you ever felt so painful? Have you ever felt like this guy cannot go on no longer? This is not uncommon. Moses understands this. Peter understands this. Jeremiah understands this. Elijah feared life so much. He feared Jezebel so much that he said, God, take my life. I don't have a desire to live no longer. And some of you have said it to God. That I don't have a desire to live any longer. Life can throw things at you and you will lose your desire. Life will throw things at you and you won't be able to, you will hate to get up in the morning. We all have been there. We all have been there when we just went through our day as zombies. And God said today is the day when we regain our desire. Before any of this happened in the world, man had a desire. In the beginning, God created God. In the beginning, man had a desire to be with God. But man decided to take one desire for another. And the Bible says that Satan knew this and wanted man to lose their burning desire for God. He wanted man to lose his relationship. He wanted man to lose his desire, to lose his flame with God. So Satan begins to talk to Eve. And he uses a closed-ended question to get her to open up. Did God not say that you can eat of any tree in the garden? An open-ended question requires you to give a detailed description. And when Satan questions her, or when Satan questions God's authority, did God really say to keep on going this route? Did God really say to keep on fighting in this marriage? Did God really say to keep on praying for your child? Did God keep on saying, look for a job? Did God keep on saying, did he say this? And he says, yes, God said, every tree in the garden, except for the tree in the middle of the garden, for the day that you eat of it, that we would die. So what he does is, he removes her fear of dying and says, listen, he moves her fear of dying. Says, God said, he says, you will not die, but you will be as God. So the Bible says in verse 6 that the tree looked desirable to the eye to make one wise. So in the beginning, Adam changed one desire for another. So losing desires or trading desires has happened before. It has been a snowball course for man. We at times, we lose a desire or we trade a desire. So Moses is walking through the desert, and Moses has saw many burning bushes before. But as he's walking, he says, this bush is burning, but it's not being consumed. Now, I preached on this lesson a while back, and the burning bush represents so many things. So many things. It represents the children of Israel being oppressed, yet not being consumed. So, but it represents many things. But the burning bush represents one thing. It represents Moses' desire. It represents Moses. It basically says to me that Moses, you have a burning desire that is unconsuming. Now, I know many preaching this tree, and they preach on it, says being burning, but not being burned, and this and that, not being consumed, and all kinds of things. But the tree represents Moses' burning desire, but a unconsuming tree. I'm going to break it down for you, don't worry about it. The bush burning, yet not being consumed, indicates that Moses' desire is burning, but the flame is too low. And then you say, well, Paul, how can you say that? That's God. Think about it. Even though you lost your desire, you still have the desire. The flame is just low. See, in marriages, you still love your wife, you still love your husband, but the flame is just low. You don't have that sex appeal, or you don't have that desire or that attraction to them. So the fire is representing Moses. Moses, you understand that I have a call in your life. The fire is burning still, but the flame is so low that it cannot consume at all. So Moses got to get into a debate. He said, Moses, go to Pharaoh. Get my people. Tell them I said, let them go. And Moses says, listen, God, I know you can do it, but I don't think I can do it. And the Bible said that God got angry continuously. Moses says, I can't speak right, God. See, one thing about God, when we lose our desire, God will confront us. When we lose our desire, God will come out of heaven and say, hey, what's going on? Why are you not pursuing this purpose? Why are you not pursuing this dream? What's wrong with you? And we say, well, God, I don't think I can do it. You know, I tried. Now, I'm trying to push my book right now. I've been rejected so many times in the last past year and a half. I mean, at times I said, God, listen, I put my own money in the book. But he said, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. So God wants to get into a debate. So God has to ignite, increase the fire, he has to ignite it. So while talking at the bush, God says, listen, this is what I'm going to do. Now, number one, your enemies are dead. All those who hated you, the ones you did, they're dead. Number two, I'm going to give you a helper in your brother named Aaron. So he's going to be your mouthpiece. But remember, the calling is on your life, not his. So he says, Moses, I'm going to show you that you still have the desire. I'm going to show you. I'm going to ignite your fire so that you can consume the nation of Egypt. See, the tree on fire, yet not being consumed, is Moses' desire. The tree represents Egypt. And God is saying, Moses, I need to get your fire hotter so that you can consume this nation who has been oppressing my people, who has been beating my people, who has been trying to prevent them from serving me. So God says, Moses, what's in your hand? He says, it's a staff, God. God said, cast it on the ground. He does it. Turns to a serpent. He said, pick it up. Moses picks it up by the tail. He says, give me your hand. He says, show me your hand. He says, put it inside yourself. He put it inside himself. And he pulled it out. And his hand was like leprosy. He says, put it back in again. Came back in, it was clear. He says, take the water from their river and pour it out on the ground. And when you pour it, it will turn into blood. God came down to ignite the desire. He says, now you have the power. Now you have the flame where you can consume the nation of Israel. When I got discouraged, not to preach no longer, not to write no longer, God used people, he used himself to encourage me, to get my flame up. He told me last, he said, Paul, don't you know that Satan wants you to stop? Don't you know that he wants you one and done? Because the calling on your life is so great that Satan will do everything in his power to get your flame low, to keep you low. But God says, don't you know, the harder the battle, the tougher the fight, the greater the purpose, the greater the calling. And last year September, I didn't write, and God came to me in a dream, and I woke up and says, listen, the time is now. You've been putting off too long. I need you to continue. He says, keep preaching. Keep on writing. Even in my job, my old job, I did for 7 years, and I got discouraged. I knew I was better than this. I went to college, got degrees. I knew that I was smarter than this. But when I lose my desire, God was lighting it up. And early this year, God blessed me with a new job where now I can bask and grow even greater. Because I lost my desire at times. But when he came down to confront me, I regained my desire. Now some desires people have are lost. Many people have lost a desire in their marriage, getting a job, going back to school, fulfilling their purpose, their ministry, becoming a parent, sexually attracted to their spouse, getting their spouse back, many more things. Maybe you have lost your desire in some of these areas. Maybe you lost your desire in some of these areas. But God says, I'm going to show you a way. I'm going to show you a way. I'm going to show you a way. Show you a way. Understand that when you get your result, when you get your desire back, it's going to be a struggle having your desire. I'm going to do it real quick with you. There are a lot of struggles that occur when someone has a good desire. Now, when you first had your desire, you lost it. But now that you're regaining your desire, it's going to be an even greater struggle now. Because now that the lapse in time, that Satan says, oh no, you ain't going to do this again. All kinds of things are going to get you. So the struggles cause a lot of problems for people. Now be aware of the problems when your desire is reunited. Now Moses understood that he was rejected by Israel the first time. And when he went to Egypt, he was rejected by Israel numerous times. Rejected by Pharaoh numerous times. But he kept on going. He kept on trusting. See, what hurted him before did not hurt him now. What hurted him before, rejection, did not hurt him now. So fear of failure hurt you the first time. But when you regain your desire, it's not going to hurt again. The lack of God moving on your time, it won't affect you now. Understand that there's going to be problems. The old problems that you are afraid of, the old problems that cause you to lose your desire, they're going to come up again. But they're not going to be so effective on you now. Moses knew desire, yet feared that he was not the right one. Okay? So, struggles is, you're going to have the very thing that caused you to lose your desire will be there again. But this time, you're stronger. This time, you're better. This time, can no one stop you. Understand this.